A tiger was pregnant and starving when she came upon a little herd of goats, and in her zeal she pounced too hard. The goats scattered, and she brought about the birth of her little one and died herself. The goats came back to where they'd been, and they had very strong parental instincts. When they saw this tiny little just-born tiger with his dead mother, they adopted it. The tiger grew up thinking it was a goat. It learned to eat grass. It learned to bleat. It couldn't see itself in a mirror, so it didn't know it wasn't a goat. Of course, grass isn't good for little tigers, so it was a pretty miserable specimen of its kind by the time it reached adolescence. And it was at that time that a great big male tiger pounced at the same little herd. And the goats scattered. But this little thing, after all, was a tiger, and it just stood there. And the big tiger looked at him. "What? You're living here with goats?" "Meh," said the little tiger, and he nibbled a bit of grass. The big tiger was mortified. What a shock to find his species in this condition. So he gives the little tiger a thump or two, but only gets these silly bleats. Then in desperation, he picks him up by the scruff of the neck and takes him to a quiet pond. Now the idea of yoga is that by stilling the rippling of the mind, we become like a still, quiet pond. Thus, the perfect whole image is revealed in us all. So the little tiger looks into the quiet pond. The big tiger, the guru, looks in too. Now the big tiger says, "Look at that face. You've got the face of a tiger. You're not a goat. You're like me. Be like me." Another silly bleat, but something's starting to sink in. Again, he's picked up by the neck and taken to the tiger's den, where there's a recently killed gazelle, the remains of which are scattered all over the place. The big tiger takes a chunk of this stuff and he shoves it at the little one, but the little one backs away. "I'm a vegetarian," he says. "Come on now," says the big tiger, and he shoves it down his throat. And the little one gags on it, as all do on true doctrine. But as he's gagging, it continues to get into his veins, and he begins to feel something buzzing along that he'd never felt before. The right food. Then spontaneously, his own tiger nature takes a hold of him, and he gives, without even knowing it, a tiger stretch and a little tiger growl. So the big fellow says, "There we are, and now we go into the forest and eat tiger food." In essence, we are all tigers, every one of us, living among all these goats. So go into the forest of night and find your tiger shining bright.